every time you play, it feels like you're playing a different game almost.
That's fair.
So, I mean, I know a lot of us have certain like niches or strategies that we like to stick to.
Cards.
Like some people just really like getting the blue cards. People really like getting
Some
the green
people.
cards.
Some
Yeah.
people named Bo
Some
just
people.
always get all the blue cards.
Yeah, and sometimes I go like hardcore full out on sciences, and other times I don't even bother with them at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really depends, you know, first of all on what under you have, and then secondly on what hands you happen to get. Because if you just happen to get a really good hand for one certain thing over and over, you might as well work it, you know, instead of trying to go for something that you're not really getting.
Right. That's fair.
And that's the first reason, and then a very close runner-up is the art.
It's a
Which is why I
beautiful
love it.
game.
Yeah, it's
There's
a
a lot of
beautiful
really
game.
beautiful
They work
art in
really
it.
hard on the art, and like you can tell in every single card, it's put a lot of effort into making it beautiful, and like I appreciate
Like
that.
some games.
Yeah.
Where
Some
they just
games,
kind of
like-
lose it.
It's true.
They either have like really good art for the board and then just skimp on the cards, or other way around. But this, you know, goes all the way, like even up to the little coins. They're all pretty. They're not just like little bricks, you know. They're intricate and ornate, and it's really pretty. And that's a big factor in everything I do.
Well, that's
How
really
pretty
valid.
is it?
That's really valid.
So,
Hence the blue cards.
yeah.
They're the most beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
Of
They're
them,
super
yeah.
pretty.
That one with the woman, is it the altar?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice card.
Yeah.
I think
and
the
then,
sciences are the prettiest.
Yeah?
And then after that, after the art and the gameplay, is just like the amount of interaction. I think is like this perfect level. Like it's not
Yeah.
too much in your face, but it's not like Ticket to Ride either, where you're just like
Just doing your
silence
thing.
for
Yeah.
10, 20 minutes, you know.
I really,
But-
I mean, I like when we played Team Seven Wonders.
Yes, I really
'cause
enjoyed that too.
That sort of like made
But
it
Danny didn't
the right
like it,
level
so
for
we never
me
did it again.
of interaction.
I like to be a dictator. I don't want
Well-
someone else telling me how to rule my city.
I mean,
You always did what you wanted.
I know.
there are nights. I know there are nights
I
when
don't
we've
work
played
well with others.
Seven Wonders where
That's true.
there's like no interaction.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
our thing and we're just sort of like getting it done.
Yeah, so I
Um,
really like that.
So, I mean, it happens.
Too much plotting.
Too much plotting. I'm usually on my phone plotting.
Yeah, that's
Just pick my card. I could do it. And then we all just sit and go,
wait for Cody.
Cody.
Yeah.
And poor Cody always gets the one. He gets the wonder with the choose from the dead cards,
Yeah.
which
Organ
just pushes him
access.
back even more.
Yeah.
Poor
I love
Cody.
that. I love that one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten Hellcard Access twice, and once I tied with it, and the other time I won. I love that board. Like,
That's fair.
it's just
Weird, but fair.
it is really weird, but your card does change hugely, like the way that you play the game.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, what I love about Seven Wonders is the strategy that goes into it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you could just go like, oh yeah, that seems good, whatever. But if you really look at what you have and what your neighbors have, like, it becomes pretty clear, like, what you have to do.
No.
This is gonna check.
Oh yeah, everything's fine.
And your strategy can
Everything.
change mid-game to your advantage too,
Yeah.
and I like that.
Unlike a lot of games.
Yeah.
If you try to
If you go one
switch-
way in some other games, you're just stuck in that path. And you're like, crap, I wish I'd done this. But with Seven Wonders, it's a new age. You're like, I'm just gonna build all these sciences because look, these blue cards let me build them, and then you suddenly
Yeah.
get another 16 points from nowhere.
It definitely,
So-
even though we all, and it seems to be flexible enough to allow for everybody to have their personal strategy that they like, and still have to sort of respond to variables like the board and, you know, what your wonder is, and the cards that you have coming through. But it definitely seems like, you know, even though we have so many of us that are super predictable, I have a pretty good sense of what you're going to do. I have a fairly good sense of Bo. We haven't played enough, Brianna, so I'm not 100% sure what you're going to do. But, like, you know, we've played enough games, you know, especially enough games of Seven Wonders to know what we will likely be missing. I'm like, I can't pass military cards to Daniel. He will
I
use
never
them
play
or
military.
burn them.
I play one and then I burn the rest of them.
Right, exactly. So no one else can ever touch them.
And then I build all the yellows.
But
Always all the yellows.
but it still seems like each game is fresh
Yeah.
and different because there's
Totally.
so many ways, so many paths to success,
Yeah.
which I really like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then there's the fact that they have so many variable cards, like the guild cards change every game we get, and so just in that, we're not always playing with the same deck to begin with. We're not always playing with the same wonder, and we're not always playing with the same deck, so every game is like a completely
Yeah.
different.
And if you get one or two more people,
Mhm.
you go from 4 to 6.
Yeah, it's
The cards that you're looking at.
That's one of the reasons that initially the first couple games of Seven Wonders I didn't like.
Yeah.
Just because there are so many cards and so many things that you have to know about them.
Yeah, definitely.
Cards that do specific things that if you don't have a rule book in front of you,
It's
you're
not
just
a game you
real
pick up
lost.
the first time. Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
yeah, I hated it the first
Yeah.
couple times we played, and now it's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, definitely.
Because once you get used to it, and you have your strategy and you know what you're doing,
yeah.
it's really fun to play. But for a newbie, it's really hard to catch on.
I think that's how I started us off, was like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna like this the first go through, you won't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you gotta just play through one go. And then when we do the scoring, you go, well, that's what all this shit was for? Oh, now I see. I should have picked up more yellow cards.
Yeah.
Or fuck the yellows,
Yeah.
you know? I try to diversify my portfolio every single game. Try to not be too heavy, because like what happened with Cody, 75 points. What did he end up?
71.
71 points in greens alone, right? The
Yeah.
sciences, and
nothing-
still didn't win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you just go super heavy on one thing forever, unless you got a lot of weak players that are just by
Yeah.
hiccups getting bad cards,
Yeah.
you know, you need a couple of extra things. Like you, even though, Bo, you'll go in a direction that is primarily maybe blue,
Yeah.
you always still have like a couple sciences.
Yeah, well, I
Just to
always
sort of
build my
round it
moves
out.
for free. I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's surprisingly easy of how many cards you can build for free just basing on, like, the free plays. So I spend, you know, my resources on the other stuff that I need.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think that's a really great sort of aspect to the game.
yeah.
Because you only get so many resources to be able to build stuff, and then there's no more resources. So you kind of have to rely on
The
your
free
other cards
yeah.
to carry you through the game. Otherwise, like, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Unless you invest in resources real
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
but then you,
Yellow cards.
It kind of gives people
Right.
who don't have an opportunity for a lot of resources or who either pass them up a second chance to still be a player in the game.
Oh, yeah.
now. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I remember my first game, I didn't get very many resources because I didn't realize that after like the first and second they become non-existent.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I was Alexandria, so
Yeah.
I had everything kind of
Like,
available to me anyways because of my ability to burn
Yeah.
for it.
The first game
with my-
I usually never build any resources. I get the yellow cards that give me some, and I buy from my neighbors, but I never like actively buy, because I think it's a waste of a turn. I'm like, look, a free 2-point blue card versus, you know, 2 bricks that I will need anyway. Nah.
I prefer to be self-sufficient, so I go with materials, and then you guys pay for them for me when you can't afford them. So it gives me money, and it kind of helps me, so I don't have to pay you guys. So
I always try to get as many resources as I can
Right.
because money disappears
Yeah.
real quick. Unless you happen to,
have yellow cards.
well, I was going to say, sit there and cook up the money one way, you know, or another. I think the only downside for me is the sort of independent study stuff. I'm super big on interactive games, and you said it's the right amount of interaction.
Very good interactive game. You will enjoy the
That's
crap
super
out
fair.
of
I
this.
look forward to it. But like, you know, for me, the team one is more interactive. I like that better.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
Yeah, I think
But-
Seven Wonders is more one where it feels like you've almost got privacy boards up. You're kind of doing your own thing and glancing here and there, but
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, if we 4 were playing at the table right now, Daniel across from me, I wouldn't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
We're not friends.
Not at all. We're not even.
Well, we are
connected.
friends.
Well,
They're not our friends.
hopefully you and I are super big military, and they just give up on it, and then we both win.
Yeah.
The scoring app on for the iPhone is super handy, by the
It
way.
is.
That was really nice. I enjoyed that. Made it super easy because scoring can be a pickle.
I still don't understand the green cards. Every time I have to have someone else count them for me.
Well, that's
I'm just
super
like,
fair.
I have this many. Help.
Yeah. That's okay.
That's fair. That's fair. Just base game. overall, Daniel, how do you feel about it?
I might give it a 5.
Yeah? I think that
At
there's
least a 4.5.
7,000 people in the world that would completely agree with you out of the 8,000 who have heard of this game.
Yeah.
This is an unreasonably popular game. Like, I remember at Gay Games, that's where I first experienced it. First night.
Yeah.
The first time that David and I went, we played Seven Wonders that night, and it was great. And, like, I tried to look online to buy it, and it was sold out everywhere, and just got a little crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 5 is valid. A 5 is valid. It's a
No
5.
less than a 4.5, but I'm leaning towards a 5.
That's fair. And it's got good, like, replay value, because we've done that. Like, let's just do it again. Swap. And it doesn't seem to make a difference as far as, like, my enjoyment of it, whether we pick our things, our wonders, or we pick them at random. You know, it offers a...
There are some that I don't like to play. I mean,
That's fair. I don't like that.
Rhodos, because I hate roads.
No, I like roads. I like roads.
Just
That's
the too
awesome.
military and the. I don't know.
That's fair.
It's good, but I'd rather not be forced into military, and that's how I kind of.
I got bored of Giza.
I
That's
love
fair.
Giza,
Yeah,
though.
I like Giza, but I got bored of it. I'm just like, I like prefer the ones that like Giza.
I haven't
Yeah.
lost with Giza still.
When we started playing to the B side, I really it popped the game for me.
Yeah.
I don't really like playing the A side anymore.
No, unless we do something like Team A,
Yeah.
you know, just for the fun of teams, not for any more than that. Yeah, I would agree on overall rating it a 5 probably.
I would agree with that. I think it's one of my favorite games that we play.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Easily.
Oh.
Bo, you're in that same
Yeah,
camp.
Same, totally.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would ding it for is just, like you said, not huge interaction. But, like, other than that, it's really well polished in almost every aspect.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interaction. It's just whether or not you're going to be vocal about it. I mean, the whole game is about playing off the other people, because they limit your resources and they also give you resources.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, okay, I'm gonna take one of these cards because I kind of want you to not, because you maybe want this one, but there's another one that I want you to have.
See, but
for
I
me
don't
to
think that's
use.
necessarily interaction. You could be playing against, the board for all you know, because you're not actually having player interaction between each other than, all right, are we all ready to flip? Flip. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, and then I hear the same.
No,
Nope.
no, wait.
no, wait, yeah. I mean,
I only have 3 cards.
Yeah, that happens too much.
Why do we only have a missing card? Well, I don't. And then we all gotta look at the backs. Where'd they go? What's happening? No, I don't know. Don't pick up your hand until it's time to pick up the hand. I'm responsible as much as anyone else for getting crazy on that. But yeah, I think it depends on sort of the mood we're in, how chatty we are, and some nights it really is a good just like, I want another game. I'm just in a zone and we're not going to get chatty, which is rare for me. But sometimes it's a good tired game.
Yeah.
It's a good tired game once you've played it a few times.
Yeah.
Because it's a terrible tired first time game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Bo, if you were going to run into somebody that you had never played Seven Wonders, and you were sort of gonna pitch it to them, pros and cons, whatever, like, what would be the first couple things you might say about it?
Well, to explain that, like, basically you're a ruler of one of the great 7 wonders of the world. If that doesn't appeal to you right off the bat,
Put the box away, play a different game.
Because, like, I mean, because, like, it sounds really cool. Like, oh, you're ruling this great city, and you are. You're building different things. You're gathering resources. You might be building an army, or you might be going a more scientific route, and everything is worth points which are added up at the end of the game. And so it's more like it's kind of it's a strategy game, but also kind of an interactive game. So say mostly the pros about it is that it's a beautiful game,
Right,
and
right.
it's very versatile. The replayability is amazing. Like, it's so difficult to get tired of this game. I haven't yet, and it's been,
40 years.
a long time since I've been playing it, over and over, almost every time. And, the cons of it is that it's a little difficult to grasp everything at the beginning. It might be a little overwhelming, intimidating, but once you play it a couple times and you figure everything out, it's not that confusing at all.
Yeah.
You start to remember the cards, you start to know what everything means, and just also it's kind of like I don't know how to say this. So I won't say it.
That's fair.
So just that right off the bat, it might not seem as amazing as someone is telling you it is, but if you give it a chance, and if
You
have-
all had to give it a
Yeah,
chance.
if all your
I
friends
remember
force
you were
it
like,
on you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember when we were at Cal State Fullerton that first night we played. It was just
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I skipped out on it the second time that we played it. I was just like, I don't want to play Seven Wonders.
Yeah.
And the third time I was like, okay, I'm going to play this time again. And it was good.
Yeah.
I've never turned it down since.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely one to recommend.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult if everyone playing it is brand new to it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that would be a little bit challenging, but once you get the hang of it, which won't take that long, it's not nearly as intimidating as other more complex games like Arkham or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But once you get the hang of it, it's something that you always want to play all the time, just because you're thinking, oh, I could do that, or oh, I can do that, and they're just all these different routes that you haven't taken yet that you want to try out and see, like, maybe you want to build all the yellow cards, and then you suddenly have all these resources, and then you can build that one blue card that's worth 8,
Yeah.
You want so bad. I always want it so bad.
So bad.
I'll give up like 9 points to get that. I'm like, this, if I build this card for free, it'll give me 9 extra points. But if I build this beautiful 8 card, I'll just have to pay 3 gold to my neighbors, and I can build it, and it'll be beautiful. So, so yeah, it's just it has a lot of. It'll be worth your money in the end. Like,
Yeah.
you'll definitely get your money's worth out of it, and then some, and how much you play it. So
I
that's what
agree.
I would say.
I agree. Daniel.
I was going to add on why it might not seem so daunting compared to like Arkham, as she was saying, is that even if you're not really sure of what you're doing, your mistakes don't fuck you over. In Arkham, if you do something wrong, you're like dead, and then
Yeah.
you lose no matter what. Like everything's a snowball from here.
Yeah,
But
you only
no
have
matter
to
what you
escape.
pick, it's good for you. No matter what
There's
you
a
pick.
path.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't run out
And
of paths.
it's not really ever a path backwards. It's always a path forwards. Maybe it's not the best way, but it's always a path. Like I was playing with Cody and his girlfriend Sarah when I was teaching it to them. Sarah beat me. She wasn't really sure what was going on, but she just
Right.
played how she wanted to play. She's like, I'm gonna play this card, I'm gonna play this card, and she won.
That's a pickle. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's one that I could say, like, I think I got it for my brother and his wife. I think I did. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to have to find out. But I think I got it for them in the group of
Yeah.
games that I got.
You did. You told us
Yeah?
you did.
Okay, good. But I don't know how well they'll get on with it just reading from the rule book. I think I
Right.
mentioned that
You have
one.
to go be their guide.
It would be nice to have somebody, I agree with you,
Yeah.
somebody at least, because this is one of those games that can seem way more complicated than it is.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first go seemed very complicated. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
But when you really get into it and you know it, it's
Yeah.
like shockingly simple for so much depth.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
breadth and
you
depth
end up
in
being
one here.
grateful for all that complicity because now it makes it like more fun.
Mhm.
It makes
Yeah.
because like simple games that you get right off the bat
I
are
agree.
real fun the first go around, and then after 2 or 3 times you're like, this is the same thing over and over.
Right,
The
right.
games that are really complicated and you're like, not sure what you're doing. The ones that take some time to get, those are the ones that
Yeah.
you play
That's
for a
where
long
I'm going
time.
with Guillotine, because Guillotine doesn't have that, what Seven Wonders has. It is,
Right.
like Bo says, it's very easy to get, and then afterwards it's just kind of, okay, it's the same game over again.
Right, right.
So that's where I would say that it's a good game, but it's missing what Seven Wonders has.
Mhm.
The little bit of extra complexity that isn't really all that complex, but it's more depth than anything.
Right, right.
There's not a lot of depth. It's a very shallow game, Guillotine is.
Mhm.
but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to add on to what Danny said about,
No.
you know, how things.
Can't do that.
Well, shut up, Danny. Making one mistake, it really doesn't fuck you over, but you can clearly see by the end of the game, oh, if I'd only played that card, I could have gone this route. So you can kind of learn from your mistakes for the next go around. Versus with like Arkham, you know, almost everything is a mistake, and sometimes it's so overwhelming that you're just like, well, I don't know what we could have done. Like
Right.
we were screwed from the outset, so well, shit.
No, that's very fair.
I've
And
gotten eaten by Cthulhu.
well,
Drat.
I mean, without a doubt, you're responsible for your game in Seven Wonders.
Yeah.
So that's a nice one.